Morning. It is the 2nd of January. I was going to say Merry Christmas then. Happy New Year. I have been away for a couple of days with Sam. We have had a lovely time with friends. Stayed at their house. We're back today. We've just got in the van. Well, I have. Sam's pulling all the Christmas decorations down. So I've just got in the van, started it up because it's freezing today. It's like -2. The ice on the windscreen is about an inch thick. Look at that. So she's started up, which I'm happy about. I'm just waiting for this to defrost. Roll VT and we'll get on with some work. Right, next job. We've got the sliding toilet going in here. What we need is to box this in, because obviously this isn't going to be on display. We need a solid flat piece there, and then the fridge is going to sit on top of that, and then we need to box that in as well. Right, I've cut a bit of this poplar board, 2 sides. This is what I'm thinking. One goes there for the front. I've cut a chunk out for the wheel arch. If you can see what's going on. Yeah, you can see enough. One for the front, that will go in there, and that will be the side of the bed. That will get joined together, or something like that. If I can get it in place. So, can you see what's happening? Let me tilt the camera down a little bit. There we go, that's better. Right, so essentially that'll be the first part of the box, and then on top of here I'm going to cut a square of the nice plywood that we've got and put the edge on display. Again, it's just giving that impression that everything's made of that nice plywood, so you get that feeling of a higher end product when it's not actually a higher end product. So we'll put a piece of that nice plywood on it, on the top of here, edge on display. That will be where the fridge sits, up here, and then we'll build another second half to box it all in. Things that I've got to think about are these cables have to obviously get to the electrical system at some point, so if we put a flat top on here with the nice wood, I think we'll run these cables through there and then out the bottom of there into the electrical system, so that's all hidden. There'll be at some point a pipe for the heating going through here as well and into the shower area. Also have to think about the plumbing for the shower, so as long as that's this half, then I'll gain access through the hole that we have the fridge cut for. Oh god, every job you have to be like 18 steps ahead, and because I don't know what I'm doing 18 steps ahead, I'm trying to over analyse to make sure I don't fuck anything up on the way. I think I've thought of as much as I can. I mean, yeah, I can't think of anything else that I could possibly need to do before I put this together, so I think we'll be alright. Well, we should be. So yeah, we'll screw these together. They can also get screwed to the floor. A couple of pocket screws to this, so it's secure everywhere. And then I'll cut the top for this and put that on as well. You take that.
Yeah.
Hold it in place.
Yeah. Happy? Yeah.
Right, we've got a couple of last pocket holes to do where Sam is now, down there to fix it to the shower wall, and then I can't see, stupid light And then we've got a couple of pocket holes down the bottom there just to finish off, and we're just using an L bracket there that'll connect that to the wall, and that should be, they're pretty solid for that bottom half of the cabinet. I've borrowed this amazing track saw off a friend, but it's pitch black, so I've got a light shining over there this way so you can see, and my torch trying to find the mark that I made where to cut. I just need to sand these edges down, not stain them, but oil them with a bit of Danish oil so they look a little nicer. I need to attach this top, so I'm just going to cut a couple of bits of scrap, attach them onto the wall there and there, so that all four sides have some support. I also need to cut, what I'm going to do with all these cables, I'm going to cut a hole in this top, feed the cables through that, and then they can come out either where the wheel arch is, or I'll drill another hole into the electrical system. So all this will basically go straight down and out into the electrical system, and then this space will be free for the fridge to sit. Again, the cable can go down the same route, and then on this wall the plumbing for the shower will come out of here or here somewhere, and that can go somewhere to the water tank. So yeah, nothing too technical for this bit, and then we can think about building the next two sides to box the fridge in. So when I had that top piece on, I just went underneath and drew a line. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. So that's the bottom of the underside of the top, if that makes any sense. And I've done the same on the back there. So I just need to line that up with that bottom line, attach that, same on that side, and then we've got a platform all the way around. I'm going to do a couple of pilot holes and then screw it all in. Perfect. One more on that side, and that's done. I wondered why it wasn't going through. Let's try again. That's annoying. Let's see how it's looking. They should just fit in, and they do. Line that up. Get all the crappy sawdust from the outside. Look at that. Okay, I'm happy with that. That looks nice. I'll pin that on just with a couple of screws, and then we can get the fridge in, and the two sides on the top. We are winning. Oh, you know, look what I've got. It's a fridge. Look at this. Can I turn this around to show you? This, I can't actually remember what it is, hang on a minute. What's it called? I'll tell you. This is the Alpicool CR90X. We got it on Facebook Marketplace. It's unused and it was a few £100 less than what it should have been. They, well, a couple were building a camper van and then they put this in the camper van, never used it and then broke up. And so I've got an unused fridge for a few £100 less. But look at the size of it. Brand new, untouched. Still bits of cardboard in the bottom from the packaging. Absolutely perfect. Got a little freezer unit. So, that's going to be there. If I can turn it around again. If I've measured everything right, there should be enough room. I'm going to try and put this as far forward as possible and as far that way, close to the bed, as possible. And then we've got loads of space down this gap for the plumbing for the shower. So there should be space for everything. I just need to know how to fix this in place so it doesn't move and then work out the front and the side. Well, the side's easy obviously because it's just a side, but I need a cut out for this. But yeah, happy days. Let's figure this shit out. So I'm thinking how I'm going to fasten the fridge in place to stop it moving around. Obviously we can't be driving and it's wobbling or shaking or any risk of falling. And I've thought about like maybe ratchet straps or things like that, but it's access. So I want to make the hole for the face of the fridge as tight as possible so the fridge will slide in, but only just so it looks like it's meant to be then it's fixed. So what I'm thinking is, to hold it in place, I've got this scrap bit of plywood that it's the hole that we cut out of the bathroom door. So I'm thinking maybe cut that down to size, this big. So I've took the feet off the fridge, cut it down to that size, measure where the holes are for the feet, put it into that. So I'm going to essentially fix that scrap bit of plywood to the bottom of the fridge, right? Bear with me. And then that will sit on the shelf, and what it'll mean is it's easy to slide around. Now you're thinking, well, it's going to slide around. But what that means is, from underneath where the toilet is, I can just put a couple of screws into through the shelf and into that plywood that will be sat here. So the plywood will be fixed to this. I can fix from underneath into the plywood, so nothing's going to move. And then if I ever need, if the fridge breaks for example, or I need to replace it, or I need to get it out, or rewire, or whatever, all I have to do from underneath, unscrew, and the whole thing will slide forwards. So I'm going to do it, and then we'll see if it works. So first things first, measure where the holes are, cut the plywood down to this size, put the holes on the plywood, screw it in. I need to make a little hole for that, screw it in, that's it. Sounds easy, let's go. It's pissing it down, so everything's getting wet, which is annoying. That is not in the right place. How did I manage to do that? How? Oh, hang on. Is it? Have I done this in the wrong place? What did I just do? Why am I being thick? Oh, that's why. I measured it off of that. And that's not in line with that. That's in line with that, you thick bastard. You thick bastard. Right, never mind. It's a good job nobody can see this. Drill another hole. Right, I've just jigsawed the hole a bit bigger because of my stupidity. There we go, we've got a hole in the right place. Right, that'll fucking do. Hold that in place. Peel this one off. Turn it over. Hold that in place. I should have, hopefully, the brown paper in the right place so I can make the marks on there and drill through and everything should be in the right place. Let's do that and find out. Right, first one in. This should line up now. If it doesn't, I'm going to cry. Where's the hole? There. 2 is in. 3 is in the right place. However, I've somehow managed to drop that out of place and that's in the way. I could actually just take that off and not worry about it. I'm going to. There we go. It's not a necessity. It's just where the, if you want to swap sides of the door. Okay, that's in. Last one. Yes. Right. I thought I was on to winner. I'm not, because the screws are sticking out. Can't have the screws sticking out. They need to be countersunk so they're flush with this, so that the idea would actually work. You don't need to see this. Let's just cut to the finished product. Okay, we're back. I took them out, drilled a little bit of a bigger hole, but not all the way down. Put the screw back in. Absolutely fine. It is now flush. There's nothing scraping. It's all good. So, in theory, this should go on. Let's do that, and I'll show you what I mean by what I was talking about before. There will be a wall here, obviously. And there will be a cutout front, just like we cut out the door for the toilet. We'll cut out this size, or just bigger, of a face here, and then attach that in place. The purpose of that wood is, if for whatever reason this thing breaks, or when I plug it in it doesn't work because I got it off Facebook Marketplace, I'm going to have to take it out. So I want the face of this to be as close to it as possible so it looks like it's fitted. And with that piece of wood, what it means is I can just slide it forward, whereas those legs were a pain in the arse because they were made of rubber. This is nice and easy and it slides. However, I also can now, from underneath here, screw into that piece of wood that we've just attached, which means it's fixed, it's not going to shake, it's not going to move, and I only will ever need to take it out if I need to replace the fridge. Right, what I've done is line this up exactly so that the front of the fridge is flush with the front of this. I put it in the place where I want. I crawled underneath through the toilet hatch, if you will, and just drilled 4 random pilot holes. So through the birch plywood and into that piece that we added to the fridge. So what I'm going to do now is turn this upside down and add some, what are they called? Flush nuts, I forget what it's called. Insert nuts, that's what they are. And Sam's now back with some lunch. How's your teeth? Give us a smile. Are you in pain?
No, I'm alright.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a threaded insert These are M6, which is the size of the screw that you use. So the where I made the pilot holes, I've left this last one available so you can see it. Made a little pilot hole, and I'm going to drill a size, I think it's an 8mm hole here that will fit that, and then you screw using a flathead. You see there? Screw that in to there, and then you can bolt M6 screws straight in. Just underneath the level of the wood, so there's nothing going to scratch. And there you go. You can tell I just did these pilot holes randomly, can't you? I've just been and got Sam to come and have a look at where we're up to now, because she's got really bad toothache. She's just sat inside with tears in her eyes, bless her. So she popped her head out, and this is where we're at. So the fridge is in. I was just about to start building the face and the sides. So it's fitted to the bottom temporarily. I've not fastened it tight, but she's come in and put a spanner in the works, but for the best, because she says we've got this space here down the side, which obviously will be covered up because the plumbing for the shower is going to come out of here and be hidden around the back of the fridge somewhere. But she said, we've got this gap, why don't we build a wine rack? And I was like, actually, that's a fucking great idea, because it's right next to the fridge. We can have a few bottles of wine tucked in, but also we've got the rest of that nice birch wood, and if I make the whole face for this out of that, it'll look even nicer and add to that illusion that we've used birch everywhere. So that's what we're going to do. However, the inside of the wine rack, the bit that won't be on display, that will just have the bottles resting on it, I'll just make out of some cheap plywood, because you won't see it, but the chop shut. So I was hoping to get this job finished today, because it's about, I don't know, 4:30 now. But that's not going to happen. So I will, what are we doing? We're busy this weekend, so it'll have to be next weekend that I can crack back on. So back in a few days.
Film me then, if I've got fucking makeup on my face.
Well, it's not my fault you've got makeup on your face. It's right in the middle of your eyes. Anyway, listen, we are a week now further than the last clip. We've been in the van this morning. I forgot to record everything. We've cut down the face for the front of the fridge. I'll show you in a minute. We have made a little mistake and we need to rectify it one way or another, which I will explain. Right now we're just planning the what do you call it, wine rack that we talked about, because Sam had a great idea of putting a wine rack next to the fridge.
Great idea.
So we're just figuring out how to build that. What we're going to do is build a box with a couple of shelves, so we've got 3 holes for the wine rack behind the wall. Again, I'll explain everything in a second when I can show you. And then we're going to cut out a hole with another hole in the bottom. So Sam, explain what we're doing.
So we are going to have 2 holes. Our first hole, no, that's probably not a good one, I'll draw it again. Our first hole will be for where the bottle will go through that hole, and the second hole will sit directly underneath it, and we'll cut away this section here, so that'll be the smaller of the drills, and that's where the neck of the bottle will sit in. So the bottle will go through this large hole, but then the bottle neck will actually sit into this well here, which means that it won't rattle around when we're driving.
And we're doing that so that it doesn't fall out. That's basically the safety mechanism, because if it was just one big hole where it slides in, when we turn, the bottle will fall out.
Yeah, it'll just fall out.
So this is an idea that we've had, but it's going to hopefully stop that from happening.
Right.
So let's do a tester and see what happens. Right, we've got a little test just to see if it works.
Through there.
And then it'll sit on the shelf.
And then it'll sit in the shelf. And then also it's not moving, and it also can't get out unless we actually bring it out like that. Yeah?
Tell us what you're doing quickly, because it's pissing it down.
I'm now marking up on the actual piece of wood exactly where the holes are going. So we're measuring the centre of the smaller hole and the centre of the larger hole. We're making sure we've got enough space for the shelves that go in between. So I'm just marking it up, making sure it's the right size. pull that right in.
Doesn't matter.
I just want to screw it slightly because I'm going to undo them anyway, aren't I?
Okay. Which way's top? That's top, obviously.
Top, top, top.
We have built a box. This is where the wine's going to sit. So
Quickly grab a bottle.
Yeah, grab a bottle. We've literally just chopped a few bits of scrap plywood up, screwed it together. There's no special. That's going to be the face of the fridge, which will sit like that. That will be hidden behind the wall, like so. We're going to carpet inside the box as well, so that there's no rattling around. But essentially, the bottle will slide in the hole and lock itself in place, so that when we're driving around, that's not going to fly out.
It's going to have to, like, yeah. There's no way that's going to come out.
No, no chance. So pretty happy with that. So we're going to take this box apart, carpet the inside, screw it back together, and then we can start putting it in. The original plan was we were going to have the face of this in line with the fridge, so it would be like that. However, we put it up in place and then quickly realised that we needed a gap much bigger on this side, and also, so that didn't look right because the gap was too big, which we had to have to open the fridge door. But also we realised when we did open the fridge door, when the fascia was here, you could see behind and through the fridge, and it just didn't seem to look right. So what we've decided is to move the fascia back so it's in line with the back of the door, if that makes sense. So rather it being there, it's going backwards, and it'll be about there, so it's in line. So the front of the fridge sticks out, but it means that that opens fully and perfectly, and also on this side there's not a big gap where you can see behind the fridge. So that's good. On the downside, because I didn't think of this ahead, we've got 2 screws that are on display, which has pissed me off. So we need to figure out a way to cover them up, because I don't want them on show. But other than that, we're good to go. So as far as this what's it called, wine rack is concerned, Sam's finished carpeting the whole thing. Looks amazing. That's going to go in next to the fridge. Just put this in place for now, and then we'll screw it down in a minute. So that's going to go back there. The fascia will go on, and we need to line it up a little bit, but essentially that will be like that. And then your bottles, so you'll have a full fridge open, and the bottles will go in and then lock into place like that. You need to sand these holes down because I scorched them, and give them an oil so they look nice, and that's pretty much it. Just fit everything in, and it's another job boxed off. Very, very happy with it.
So we've now finished our wine rack stroke rum rack, because Andy and I drink a lot of rum. And
A lot?
well,
I don't drink a lot.
we drink more.
Make us sound like alkies.
Drink more rum than wine.
Yeah.
Anyway, we created the fascia, as Andy showed in the previous parts of the video. We've created the pockets, the shelves for the wine to go in. The fridge opens perfectly now because we've pushed the fascia back. We've created the wall for the side. Everything's been plugged in. Stick a bottle in. And our bottle of Prosecco.
And it is locked.
Sits in. And also, like, that noise, that'll make actually quite a lot of noise.
That actually did. We thought it was going to be dead quiet with the carpet.
The carpet is doing its job because before it was hitting the wood.
I might have to put some foam in there if it makes a lot of noise. But at least it's locked in. That's not going to fall out.
That's not going to fall out at all. So we're really happy with that. The only thing we've got left to finish on this particular part of the van is we've got 2 screws here. We screwed them in before we realised that the fascia was going to go back. So originally the fascia was going to be covering that piece, but now it's not. So we're going to have to work out how we're going to do that. Maybe with, I don't know, some cork and me doing a bit of colour mixing. But apart from that, we're really happy. And we've got a wine rack. As always, thank you for watching. If you've got any comments, please put them below. Like and subscribe. And our next job in the next video is probably going to be the kitchen. See you soon.